Welcome to the Pharmacy Software tutorial video series. In this video, I will show you how to add an insurance plan to the database of Visual Superscript. First, access the main screen of the Visual Superscript. Click on the Insurance Plans button located on the left side of the screen. A dialog box called Insurance Plans will appear. The Insurance Plans form is used to maintain a database of insurance plans to which your customers subscribe. The Insurance Plans form contains 3 tabs. We have to make sure the Insurance Plan Data tab is open when going through the next steps. Click on the new icon located on the toolbar at the top of the dialog box. The Insurance Plan Lookup dialog box will appear. Enter the name of the insurance plan you want to add in the Plan Name Data entry field. If the plan does not exist, click the Add Plan at the bottom of the dialog box and confirm that you want to add the plan by clicking the Yes button in the pop-up window. The Long Name Data entry field refers to the insurance carrier. Enter the long name of the insurance carrier. Next, tab to the Company Data entry field. Insurance carriers use a company to process pharmacy transactions. The name of this company is indicated in the Company Data entry field. Click on the arrow to access the drop-down menu and type in the first 3 letters of the company name. Select the appropriate company. Tab to the next field underneath Company Phone. This field is used to identify the pharmacy to the insurance company for billing purposes. Click on the arrow located to the right of the data entry field and select the desired identification qualifier. In most cases, the unique pharmacy ID number is the National Association Board of Pharmacy or NABP number. In our case, it will be the NCPDP Provider ID. Tab to the next field and enter the pharmacy ID. Tab to the Billing Method Data entry field. This field is designed to indicate how the billing information between the insurance carrier and the pharmacy will be shared. Click on the arrow to the right of the Billing Method entry field and choose the desired method in the drop-down menu. We will choose Electronic Billing. Tab to the Max Refills Data entry field. Here you indicate the maximum number of days during which the prescription can be refilled for this plan. Keep in mind that there are separate requirements for controlled substances. Tab to the Max Refills Data entry field. This field represents the number of times the insurance company will pay for a given prescription to be refilled. Tab to the Max Days Supply field. This field represents a payer-imposed limit, if any, on the amount of a medication that may be dispensed at a time. Next is the Sales Tax field. If your state imposes a sales tax on medicines, then make sure the box is checked. The sales tax will then be billed to the insurance company. The Disgen and Less DA box should be checked for insurance companies that require generic drugs to be dispensed unless the prescriber specifies dispense as written or DA on the prescription. This will be the case with most of the insurance companies. OTC covered box should be checked if the insurance plan covers over-the-counter medications. Cost preferences are choices for calculating the ingredient cost of the drug. When pricing a prescription, Visual Superscript first attempts to calculate the ingredient cost based on cost preference number 1. If it is not available, cost preference number 2 will be used, and so on. For us, we will choose average wholesale price as the first option, maximum allowable cost as the second, and direct price as the third option. The Usual and Customary Charges field indicates whether the insurance company requires you to submit the usual and customary charges. This will be required if the pharmacy's price of the medication is lower than the price based on the formula specified by the insurance company. Per usual and customary fees, the amount paid for a service in a geographic area is based on what providers in the area usually charge for the same or similar services. Click on the arrow to the right of the field and choose the appropriate option from the drop-down menu. We are done with the Insurance Plan Data tab. Next, click on the tab entitled Pricing Parameters. The Pricing Parameters form will be active and ready for data entry. First, we will enter the markup for brand drugs. The brand markup is the factor by which the price of the drug is multiplied to arrive at the ingredient cost of the drug for billing purposes. The field uses the decimal equivalent of percent to calculate, with 1 being the base price. For example, if there is going to be a 50% increase in price, then the markup will be entered as 1.5. If the price is going to double or increase by 100%, then the markup will be 2.00. We will enter 1, meaning there is no markup or price increase. Next, enter the brand dispensing fee allowed by the insurance company. This is the amount that the pharmacy charges to cover the costs of storing and preparing medications, as well as providing services to customers. Enter the markup factor for brand name over-the-counter drugs. We will enter 1.25, which means there is a 25% increase in price. Enter the copay amount. A copay is an amount that is paid every time a service is rendered. Pharmacies collect the copay amount at the time the prescription is picked up from the pharmacy. If is it % box is checked, then the system will treat the number entered in the copay field as the % of the total prescription price rather than a flat amount. For example, if the prescription cost is $50 and the copay amount entered is $10 without the is it % checked, then the copay amount is $10. But if the is it % box is checked, then 10 is treated as 10% of the prescription cost, and the amount will be $5. We will leave the box unchecked, which means the copay amount is $10 flat regardless of the prescription cost. Next field is the discounted copay. This field should reflect the same amount as the corresponding brand copay unless the pharmacy has decided to offer a lower copay amount that is required by the insurance company. Enter the required information in the generic column of the pricing parameters form. We will enter the same information for generic drugs, except the copay for these drugs will be less. Usually, lower copay amounts are required for generic drugs versus brand name drugs as an incentive for patients to choose generic over brand name drugs. Next, we will make sure that the box next to the same copay as generics for brand drugs with no generic is checked. This box should be checked if the copay amount for brand name and generic drugs are different and the insurance company allows the customer to pay the same copay for a generic drug as it does for a brand name drug that has no generic drug available. Some insurance plans allow this. The max payment for an RX field specifies the maximum amount the insurance company will pay for a single prescription. We will enter a large value to indicate that no limit exists. The next field specifies the percentage of the difference between the price of the brand name drug and the price of the generic drug that the insurance company requires the patient to pay if the patient chooses a brand name over the generic drug. For example, if the brand name drug costs $100 and its generic version is $40, and the value that we enter is $80, that means the customer has to pay 80% of $60 difference, which is $48. We are done with the Pricing Parameters tab. Next is the Electronics Billing Options. Click on the Electronics Billing Options tab to open it and enter the data. The information contained here determines to whom the claims are sent for financial processing, as well as the format in which they are sent. Successful processing requires that all items be entered as completely and accurately as possible. You can get the information from the insurance carrier. The electronic biller field specifies the company to which the electronic claim is initially delivered. Click on the arrow to the right of the field. A dialog box called Insurance Carrier will pop up. Type the first 3 letters of the insurance company to narrow down the search and choose the appropriate electronic biller. The bin identifies the party to whom the electronic biller needs to forward the claim. This field is required for all electronically transmitted plans. Most insurance companies will list the bin on the insurance card issued to the customer. The bin always consists of 6 numeric characters. The Processing Control Number field is a required field for all electronically transmitted plans. It may also be referred to as the carrier ID. Next, we will select the appropriate type of ID number that the insurance company uses to identify the prescriber. For successful processing of claims, selecting the appropriate identifier for each specific plan is imperative. We will select DA as the required prescriber ID, NPI as the alternative prescriber ID, and DA as the required primary prescriber ID. Other coverage codes are used to communicate claim information to the next downstream payer. For example, if you file a claim to a primary insurance and then file to the secondary payer, then code communicates how the previous payer responded to the claim. Click on the arrow located to the right of the field and choose the appropriate code from the table. Click on the arrow to the right of the default other code for secondary billing field and choose the appropriate option. Next, click on the arrow to the right of the default RX origin code and indicate which prescription types are required by the insurance company: written, faxed, electronic, phone, or not specified. Click on the arrow next to the default RX eligibility clarification code and choose the appropriate option. Finally, we will make sure that the Medicaid box beneath the default customer residence code field is checked. The checkboxes on the right side of the electronics billing options form are optional fields. Completion of these fields may be required by some insurance plans. Always make sure to contact the insurance company's help desk to find out which data fields are required and complete them appropriately. Once you completed the form, save and close it. Remember that you always can reopen the form after closing to make necessary changes by clicking on the Edit button. Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to comment, share, like, and subscribe.